Kimbrough. And on Saturday, November 8th, for Robbie Folks, also supported in part by the Old Quarter Songwriter Festival. Thursday, November 13th through Saturday, November 15th. Ticket packages available. For information, kpft.org.
Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. Good morning to the entire world receiving our signals via the magic of El Internet, created by We the People under the project, the ARPANET project by the DOD, paid for We the People, now under the control of the billionaires, something that we must arrest, something that we must take back. Anyway, folks, we're going to have a great show for you today. It's a rough morning. Today, the technical problems seem to have started on my side. I still haven't figured it out, but I found one little channel from which to come to you because you come first. Anyway, without further ado, let's throw it to the studio where our resident junior geniuses are in. That is El Senor Jacques Van Beva and Mayena.
Hey, did I turn into a junior genius?
No. Hey, I like that.
I was
like
a genius,
that.
now I'm a junior genius.
I like the way. Hey, what is it? Alliteration or something like that? I tell you.
What's up?
What's going on?
No, go ahead.
Hey, good morning, Egberto. I'm just going to read your headlines.
Talk to me.
The voices of Gen Z are rising loud and clear and unflinching from the streets of Kingwood, Texas, where the No Kings protest became a generational declaration. Young activists like Soroya warned that history is repeating itself. Oh, man, I touched my phone wrong.
That's all right.
Okay.
Retouch it.
Young activists like Soroya warned that history is repeating itself, urging action before democracy erodes beyond repair. They're relying on their rallying cry for human rights and justice stands in sharp contrast to the hypocrisy of Trump's economic betrayal, using U.S. tax dollars to buy Argentine beef while American ranchers are struggling. This episode of Politics Done Right brings together these intertwined stories of protest, economic injustice, and the unyielding spirit of those determined to build a fairer world. Thank you, Egberto, for that.
Thank you, my brother. Mayana, anything else you got to add to what?
I was just thinking, you just keep bringing it to us. I'm just waiting to hear. I'm like, and he's buying Argentinian beef. He just can't stop. It's not, I don't know.
But there's reason to the madness why he's doing it, right? But he does all this stuff on the back of our rural folk, our rural brothers and sisters, and
he's undermining our food system. Why?
Yeah.
Why is he undermining our own food system? This is crazy.
It is. He's undermining our food systems in three ways. The tariffs are undermining the system. The immigration policy is undermining the system, and this deal that he's making with Argentina is undermining our food system. And again, here's the thing. I wish. Look, we are one little radio station tucked in one little city. Of course, Houston really is not a little city, but you get my point. We're just one beacon out there trying to say, hey, look at what's happening, guys. Look at what happens. This is going to affect you. And we have mainstream media loaded with very high-paid reporters, very high-paid investigators, actually. Technically speaking, a lot of what we discuss here in the background, a lot of it originated from these investigative reporters who work for these big corporations that simply do nothing with the information they gather. They put it in an obscure place that we find something not even obscure. It's just the lack of mentioning or giving it multiplicity, and it just goes on like nothing. We only look and say, "Hey, look at they're demolishing the White House," but we don't look at other things that matter to the individual American. But guys, we're giving you a full show in as much as we are in a fund drive. Yesterday, one of our great callers said, "Hey, how long is fund drive gonna last?" And I said, 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how fast we raise our funds to keep operating, and that is where we're at. We're doing fairly well, but we really need to put the pedal. How do you put the pedal to the metal to start getting more in, so we can shut this baby down. So, without further ado, I'm going to throw it to Brother Sandy, the manager of this not studio, but the radio station, Sandy Wyman. Sandy, maybe Sandy has to take his mute off. Okay.
Connected here. You can't hear me?
Yes, I can
Hello?
hear you now.
Okay, there we go. Nothing like technology. On day number 6 of our fall fund drive, folks, yes, we're going to go as long as we need to tank up to get to February. We cannot fail, but our listeners don't let us fail. Our goal this morning on this show is $500, and we're waiting on the first pledge to get us going toward that goal. KPFT is listener funded, as most of you know. For those of you tuning in for the first time, you found a 55-and-a-half-year-old community radio station that's never had a commercial, has always been listener sponsored, and only recently, like in the last couple of years, started accepting underwriting. And that's starting to fill in a couple of the blanks, but about 93% of the funding comes from our listeners. So here we are in the fall of 2025 for our 56th fall fund drive. Remarkable. Here we are in Houston all these years, and we want to stay here to pass this oasis of free speech on the dial forward to the next generations. And we start today by asking you to be the first donor. So far, 419 distinct acts of kindness now total $76,273. So we're under the $100,000 to go line, but that's a long way to go. Maybe one or two of you out there have a $10 a month or $5 a month pledge for us. A little $5 bill out of your wallet into our coffers times thousands of people add up and allow us to run this radio station. Do your part, 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. And remember, that $5 bill isn't even worth a cup of coffee anymore in a lot of places. So we're not asking for much. We've held the line on expenses best we can, but they're real, they're present, and they're rising. So if we're to keep our station, we need you to participate. 713-526-5738. Egberto.
Thank you very much for that, Sandy. Thank you very much for that. Anyway, folks, we got a lot to talk about, but I still want to spend a little bit of time on the protests on Saturday, because I think it says more, and I think we cannot leave
Here,
it.
Sandy.
We cannot leave it on without. We have to keep it going. We have to keep the momentum going. And just saying we had a great big day and not following up on that means that it is for naught, and we won't let it be for naught. So if you were one of those protesters out there, that is step one. Step two is remaining engaged and finding that organization that you can work with. And by the way, you can also work alone. Independent people working alone, contacting their Congress people, telling them what you want out of them in volume works as well. Working with organizations as well is great. Individuals, swing, whatever. I mean, there are a lot of organizations to look up and work with to stay engaged. And most importantly, folks, make sure you are registered to vote. make sure you are registered to vote. There are several elections occurring in November. That is an very off year election, but specifically Virginia and New Jersey, very important. So those of you listening from New Jersey and Virginia, make sure that all of your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed, and you go out there and vote your interest. Important. Those two states are the big ones for November. Of course, we're going to have a few people to vote for here in Texas and other places. But guys, you have to register to vote and make sure you're engaged. Look, they can make registering to vote as difficult as possible, but they can't yet take your vote away. So do what is necessary to be engaged and your part. A lot of good people lost elections in the last November because people just sat down and stayed home. They thought, my vote isn't needed, or I am disappointed. I don't feel like I have the choices. The destruction of what we call the administrative state, the people that are going to lose SNAP, the people whose insurance are skyrocketing, the soybean farmers who are losing all their wherewithal, now the cattlemen that are the cattle persons that are now they finally started to make a profit because of input costs, gas and everything else. Yeah, they had to raise the prices of beef to do that. But yes, and yeah, the people are complaining about the price of beef. And the president's solution is, okay, we'll just buy more beef from Argentina. But there's more to that story. So, folks, we have to engage. We have to participate. I want to give a big welcome to Lisa Blair, Atlanta, Georgia. Harry Denson from Missouri City, Texas. Moz Maniac. I think Moz Maniac, you're from Houston, right? We also have Roy Cohen. Roy Cohen, how you doing, Roy? Great to hear from you. Roy, one of our pretty active brother out here. Dana Spetch. Cheryl Elkin says, good morning. It's another good day to be seen and heard. To me, to fire the absent GOP House members, the Greed Over People Party. We also have in the house, Mary B says, I love that, Cheryl. She loved your quote, Cheryl. And LBW says, good morning. She's back from the mountains, back from 5 days in the mountains. You know what is so interesting? It is interesting. We missed you, my friend. We missed you. John A. And by the way, LBW is La Profesora, most important profession for that. We also have John Davis, Mary B., Bob Reiger, Diana Specht. I have a terminal. Sorry about that, Diane. We must talk. And this prevents me from sleeping well. Okay, my thoughts with you. 3 options: Visible Brigade, your local indivisible group, your local immigrant support group, and did I miss one? EV group. So as you see, there are many places you can go. John Davis says from Minneapolis. All right, folks. There is one young lady that spoke to me at the rally, that her statement from a young person meant a whole lot to me, and it turned out I just haven't. There are a lot of Gen Zs out there this time around, and I was shocked. So I interviewed, I don't know, probably 8, 10 Gen Zers out there. And what happened is there's this particular one that impressed me, short interview, but what she had to say tells me there's so much work we had to do, but I loved her insight. We had connection problems, so I hope this works. If it doesn't work, I'll just have to get things rejiggled a little bit more, but I want you to listen to this.
You know, guys, I am excited when I see our youngsters come up because they make us know that we have a future. What is your name?
My name is Aubrey.
Aubrey, why are you out here over and over again?
I'm out here because I just see all the things happening in the world, and then like I learn about similar stuff in like my history class, and like this is history repeating itself in such like a visible way, and it's gonna damage all our futures. But like I just became an adult. I don't want to inherit like a crazy world.
You know what I love with what you just said? You study history, and it's sad. You feel sad to see that a lot of things your parents, older folks like myself, fought for, you are having to come back and do again. But let me tell you what's important, Aubrey. You are doing it, and as such, you are one of the heroes. I feel great to know that our hands are in the hands of people like you. Give me a closer.
Even if you can't do like everything, you can't like go to the protests, sign the petitions, whatever, there's a way that you can help. You can get the word out there, get the information out there. Like, it feels impossible, but I know that we'll get through this and we'll be better on the other side. Thank you.
Thank you.
She just turned 18. She just turned 18. She was out there with her signs. She just turned 18. She talks about, oh my God, I read about this in history. We don't want that again. Folks, of all the people that I interviewed, when she said, I don't want to have a crazy world, I read about this stuff, but more importantly, I'm going to do something about it. A just turned 18-year-old says, I am going to do something about it, and you can too. And when I told her, I'm glad that, people my age, we're leaving this place to folks like you. Maybe you'll do a better job with the insight that you have, young lady. Maybe you'll do a better job. I want to give a big thank you to Michael from Houston. Thank you so kindly, Michael. We really cannot possibly do this without folks like yourself. We definitely couldn't do it without you. Folks, we still need about 4 more $10 a month donations or 8 more $5 a month donations. And I know you can do it. Let's bring this stuff over. 713-526-5738, extension numero uno, extension number 1 to donate, extension number 2 to speak. But right now, folks, we need you. Or you can go to kpft.org, kpft.org, hit that donate button. Be sure to select Politics Done Right as whom you're supporting. And let's go ahead and get this thing going. I have another one that I want to play for you. And this is this young lady discussing her rights. Another young Gen Z person that impressed me from the rally as we spoke. Here we go with it. Ahora mismo. Let me get it up and queued. I think I had it queued and unqueued it, but it's queued again.
Hello, ma'am. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Patricia.
Patricia, what made you come out to, you're a young woman. You could be doing a lot of other things.
Yes.
Right? What I love about today is a lot of young people are out. Specifically, yes. I want to know why this young person is out.
Well, I feel like I've been seeing a lot of injustices through our phones, and we've gotten to see kind of like the realistic side of what people are going through. And it's kind of important for us to stand up and be against that, because truly, in essence, we're fighting for our own human rights. And as we go on, we see that they are taking away more and more of our rights. And I feel like it's just time for people to truly stand up and fight back, because, we're better united than we are divided. And what they truly want is to blame somebody else, blame the immigrants, blame the people who come here and, try to get a good job to provide for their families, rather than blaming, racist Nazis who don't want us here. So it's just kind of like, we need to learn how to move forward as a country and truly value other people and their lives and what they contribute to our society.
I think I couldn't have said that any better. I think that is wonderful. Make sure and keep it up, and you keep encouraging others to do the same.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so kindly.
Thank you.
And that was Patricia, and I think her message is one that we can all adhere to. First of all, yes, we have to come out here for our rights. We cannot cede our rights to anybody. We cannot cede our rights to anybody. Alan is on the line. Alan, línea número uno, line number one. Come on in, my brother.
Yes, this is Alan with policies start left. I'm a subscriber, even though I only make about $1,000 a month from Social Security, whatever. I biked from Acres Homes to the Heights Library and picked up some of the League of Women Voters voting guides to share with my neighbors. Last weekend, I did attend the No Kings downtown, and I also saw a pretty cute cartoon on the web. Picture Smokey Bear with a hat on that says resist, and he's holding up a sign that says, only you can prevent fascist liars. Here's a little bit on the weather that's coming up. Later today, there'll probably be a tropical storm forming between Haiti and Venezuela. Most of the storms this year have been out in the Atlantic, but this one's far enough south that it may track into the Gulf. So we'll be watching that in the days ahead. That's everything. So Alan is with the crowd that's in.
Alan, I think I've been knowing you for quite a while from the time that I've been at KPFT. And there's one thing, you and that bike are everywhere, doing your part to make a society a better society. You keep up the good work. And Alan, you always tell me how little you are able to live on. I mean, I'm impressed with the way you do things, including the last chat that we had, and that you are a subscriber at a level that you can handle. I want to thank you because again, and a lot of us can do that. Alan is an activist out there, and I know him. I know Alan on his bike. I mean, every activity that I go to, I can almost be assured that he will be there. Sometimes
Going on
more.
79 years young.
Yes, I know. Sometimes he does it in more than one in a day. Look, first of all, thank you for the activism that you put out there, my brother. But secondly, as well, thank you for being a supporter. And I mean, you are invaluable. Okay?
So.
Take care, brother. All right, thank you, James. I appreciate that we got a sustainer from James, thank you so kindly, James. We have two new people for today. Love that. I love that. Folks, please keep calling 713-526-5738, extension numero 1. Extension number 1, or go to kpft.org. Go ahead, hit that donate button. Please remember to select Politics Done Right as a show you're supporting so that it'll be credited appropriately. Lynette says, yes, that was a hopeful interview. I'm inspired by the rallies. I volunteered to call voters last night about mailing in their mail-in ballots. And Lynette also says, thank you to all those who have participated in making our country better. Exactly, making our country better. We also have on the line, we also have Harry who said, if you do not vote or your vote against your interests and things get worse because of the cutting of government social programs and things that hurt the economy. Exactly. And we have to inform our brothers or sisters or friends. They have to be informed. People are making the wrong vote because of who they've chosen to put their trust in. What those of us that are progressives that are asking folks to vote their interests, our responsibility isn't to look down at folks. Our responsibility is to bring folks into the fold. Our responsibility is to try to earn the trust of these people. I'm not saying you don't have to give up your values. You don't have to do any of that. I have an 8 minute piece that I would like to play, but I think I'm going to hold off. It's an interview it's the exchange that I had with a MAGA infiltrator on Saturday. I'm going to, instead of playing it on the radio, I'm going to ask you guys to listen to it because it can get a bit noisy. And for those in the car driving while they're listening, I don't want, it can be a bit distracting. So I go ahead and I would suggest that you listen to it at our site. But let me go ahead and pause here and jump back to our station manager, radio station manager. Come on in, Sandy.
Thank you, Egberto, and thank you, James and Michael, for getting us off the zero this morning and on our way to our $500 goal. Many of you are listening right now that have never donated to this radio station. I don't know the reason for that. Maybe you just started listening. Oftentimes it takes a little while for people to come around and make that first donation. Speaking for myself, it took years. It probably took 4, 5, 6 years of listening before I made my first donation. So understandable. And that's not unusual for folks. But if you're listening now and you have never donated, and maybe you've been listening for a year or two, it's your turn. This is a listener-supported community radio station. And when we all get together and do a little bit, when we all join hands and say, hey, we want this free speech radio to continue in Houston. We want to pass this forward to the next generation. We want a voice, especially in troubled times like the ones we live in, where rights are being usurped. Free speech is being usurped. And even Pacifica, the network which we are part of, made it into Project 2025. Mentioned specifically. If we want to keep this radio network, it's going to take a few more of us deciding, yep, I'll give them $5 a month or $10 a month or a one-time donation, whatever the amount might be, to keep us here. We are trying to collect $175,000. That's just enough money to see us through February. And then we'll be back and doing another fund drive. But until then, the bills come in. We've got holidays to celebrate, all kinds of good things planned for the holiday months coming ahead. But to keep the station coming, we got to pay the bills. So I'm asking kindly, those of you that have never donated before, James is a new member and Michael is too, according to our software, which we do get at a discount, like most things around here. But according to our software, there are 2 new members already. So if you've never donated, become the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. We need you. We need all of you to be participants and not observers in this fund drive. Get off the couch, become radioactive, dial 713-526-5738, option 1. Put down $100 and pick up the Fall Pledge Drive t-shirt. It's an inspired design by our own blues hound, James Nagel, who does Howlin' the Blues on Sundays. And it has that proverbial tree with a large trunk with its leaves turning in the fall weather. And, you know, here we are, 56th Fall Fund Drive, great way to celebrate it. Wear that shirt. Oh, by the way, it's a long sleeve tee, meaning that for when the days get just a little bit cooler in Houston, you'll be well prepared. When we got the pledge from Michael earlier, when we got the pledge from James a little while ago, he became the 200th sustaining member in this drive. Why don't you be 201? 713-526-5738. Or if you don't like the phone, kpft.org, click donate and follow the bouncing ball. You put the donation amount in, and then the thank you gifts that you can get for that pledge level will magically appear right there on the page. Good way to pledge because you can see everything and take your time and pick what you want or pick no gift at all, save for this oasis in the media desert, KPFT. One more time, our number, 713-526-5738, option 1, Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. You know, we lead by example. If we're asking others to do certain things, we generally try to do it ourselves as well. And I can tell you, I am a donor here at KPFT. Remember, I get no salary, no pay, nothing at KPFT. I volunteer to do the show every morning, but I am a $10 a month sustaining member here at KPFT. I feel that responsibility to do that. Um, Let me also say that a lot of us may give one place. Well, I already give. Well, let me tell you what I do. And I'm just telling you this with the expectation that some of you who are already donating other places feel that it is a normal thing to have several of those. I am a progressive that donates to a lot of. I think there's only one conservative organization I give to because I figure they're trying to bring people together, and I can't remember which one it is, to be honest with you right now. But I make sure that we have good media. So, other than supporting KPFT, I support places like Daily Kos and Common Dreams and Op-Ed News, other news organizations. I also support individuals that are really doing the work. Arturo Dominguez, who writes a great letter, a great newsletter on Substack on immigration. Martin Weems, who does some good financials on Substack. I also subscribe to the healthcare newsletter by the whistleblower. I can't remember his name right now, but you've heard me interview him. So what I do is I put a list of all the groups that I feel are making a difference, and then I subdivide my contributions to these groups as my part to help change our society and ensure that these groups and persons are funded, that they can continue doing what they're doing. I think it's a good way of thinking about how can I make a difference in this society where I know I cannot do it alone, and leverage my dollars to others that are also multiplying and doing the work. So please, if you are out there listening right now, I am saying KPFT is one of those places that are deserving of your dollar, because we are multiplying your voice. We are informing with not only your voice, but with many others to get to try to make this a better place. Lady Bearcat from Austin, Texas, welcome aboard. We have Gil on the line. Come on in, Gil. Gil, come on in. Yeah, Uju, I had very audio problems today. I'm using an alternate mic, and that is the reason why the sound is a bit suspect. So I'll try to speak louder or somehow to try to make it a little better. But it's not at your end that we're having the problem. Okay, if you guys can get Gil on the line right now, line number one would be good. Uh, Come on in, Gil, you're on.
Okay, thank you. I saw an interview with Mike Johnson on television. I believe it was on television.
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned that he gave a rebuttal to his defense on the cuts of Medicaid in the bill that's causing the impasse. He said that the Democrats are trying to repeal the law that restrict illegal aliens to receive Medicaid. Number one, is that true? Because I haven't heard of any conversations coming from Democrats about repealing that law. And many recipients of Medicaid in New York are removed from the aid because they're illegally retrieving or receiving Medicaid benefits. What is he lying once again? What's your feedback on that?
I'm so glad you asked that, and I didn't get your question completely, but I saw the interview as well. And let me just tell you that yes, Mike Johnson is lying by inference, and what I'm saying is that he's taking a little bit of truth and turning it into a big lie. Let's first tell you that by law, it is the law. Undocumented residents of this country cannot get Medicaid. They cannot get Medicare at all. Zero. Punto y final. So anything he says otherwise is a lie. Now, here is what he's concerned, how he makes that lie seem plausible. What he did was the following. I understand the sound. I can't help the sound right now, Mayana. But what he said is the following, or what he's implying is the following. Let's say an undocumented worker gets into an accident and they go into an emergency room with their guts falling out of their abdomen. That hospital doesn't say, are you documented or undocumented? If you are undocumented and we know you don't have the money to pay for this service, we are not going to serve you. It's inhumane what these people want to do. Inhumane. Because what he's saying is, because Democrats are saying we are going to pay hospitals for emergency services for the indigent. That's what pretty much the law implies. We are going to pay the hospital when they service somebody that is their guts falling out and come to the emergency room. We're going to patch them up. That is what he's calling. They want to support the indigent. But look, on November 1st, Gil, all Americans are going to see what happens. Those farmers and those ranchers who get their health care off of the exchange, they will see that with no subsidies, their health insurance is going to be double, triple, or quadruple. That is not going to be a light that they are going to be able to hide from. So they're trying to hurry and get things done to cover it up. When it comes to Medicare and Medicaid and SNAP and all of that, he is lying. Continue, Gil. And I have a bit of problem hearing you, but continue.
Thank you so much. You answered my question. I suspected and said that he was simply covering it up. Thanks again for your work.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. All right, folks, and that is what gets me the most, right? The way Republicans are able to govern with draconian policies is to create scapegoats. They use people's prejudices. They use people's homophobia. They use people's xenophobia in order to get you to support what they're doing. When he goes ahead and says Democrats want to give your money to immigrants for health care, and you are paying the kind of money you are paying for health care, it gets you mad if it were true that other people are getting health care that you are not qualified for or can't get even as a tax-paying Americans. And that's what they play with. They play with your minds. And what I'm telling you is you have to start finding your reputable source of information. Because, folks, what they're doing is harming you. Now, I'm going to get into the beef situation, the beef situation, after I bring Sandy in for another time. But I want you guys to understand what's going on here.
He's putting you on, Sandy.
You are being played. My farming brothers and sisters, you are being played. Ranchers, you are being played. And they're using your own. Look, many farmers now can't find people to pick their crops because you're being played. Do you think this immigration thing has anything to do with immigration? It doesn't. It has everything to do with paying guys who are part of the prison industrial complex to make money, locking people up, to make money, feeding these people that they lock up, to make money, transporting these people that they're locked up. These people are just cogs in a production system. It's not that they hate immigrants. Immigrants is a source of income for these guys. Getting them to go off to back to their country, it's a source of income for the friends of the president. And we sit back down there and think, oh, we hate the immigrants. And now our food cost is going to go up. The Republican administration is warning of an upcoming food crisis because of the lack of workers. Sandy.
Thank you, Egberto. Yeah, that's kind of true. And I wonder with Mike Johnson, talking about Mike Johnson, if he were like a football or baseball coach and the post-game interview comes along and the team lost, maybe like last night being the Mariners manager, what would he say in that press interview? He'd look you straight in the eye and go, "No, we didn't lose, we won." Yeah, they're lies. That's exactly right. They're twisted facts and lies. And we are in a lot of trouble in this country. And we are headed toward an economic brick wall. The steps, you had an interview with a young lady before about history repeating. Clearly, this is what's going on here. And if you recall the Roaring Twenties followed by the Great Depression and World War II, we're kind of on that path globally and locally, etc. This should be a real eye-opener for a lot of folks. It doesn't take a lot of deep thinking to connect the dots in this case. And that's one reason we really need this radio station right now, so we can bring this out and inform people as to what's going on. Don't be asleep. Do not be asleep right now. This is a critical moment in history. This is a critical moment for KPFT. Every fund drive is. This morning, we've got about half our goal accomplished, but we need to hear from a few more of you to make it all the way to the goal. And when we do, we pass the baton to Democracy Now! And so on and so forth through the broadcast day. And hopefully each show makes its goal, and at the end of it, KPFT makes its goal. And we can continue broadcasting. No guarantees with anything in this life, but one thing's for certain. Without the dialogue, without the freedom of speech, we are not in a good place. Without the ability to exchange ideas on the air at 100,000 watts, where thousands of people potentially can join in at this hour, and there are thousands listening now. Without that, we're in a far worse spot than we are with it. So I'm asking you, please, let's keep KPFT going, vibrant in the community of Houston and around the world. And let's hear from you, 713-526-5738. Egberto, you've got listeners all across the country. We've heard from Conroe. We've heard from Houston. Can we hear from Richmond Rosenberg? Can we hear from Sugar Land? Can we hear from League City or maybe Clear Lake? Can we hear from Webster or Pasadena? Can we hear from Spring? Come on, folks. There are a lot of you listening, and it just takes a few of you doing a modest amount, $5 or $10 a month, to make this small goal in the morning. But it is so important on this Tuesday that we accomplish that. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Let's pass this forward to the next generation. We need to do this. We cannot fail in our mission to do so. 713-526-5738. Egberto, back to you.
Thank you so kindly. Let me just say this. Folks. This is so important. Well, before I say that, there's a message. Ernie Boxall follows us all over the place in both chats, etc. And he has most of the most nonsensical things to say because of who informs him, and he has a proclivity to believe it. I just want to put it out because he threw it in our chat, and I want to correct it. He says, Black American women are praising the president because they are walking peacefully. Huh? What are you talking about? I've seen that message before out of right-wing rags. You can get anybody to say anything and then write it down. You can go ahead and find a black woman in the street and say, hey, I'll give you $100. Say this quote so I can put it in my rag. No, nobody of any consequence is liking the police state that the president is creating. And I think you, my brother, needs to check your heart, because whenever you come on all our chats, you usually have a lot of racialized statements to make. Consider looking in the mirror and consider checking your heart. Let's go to Tall at Northeast Houston. Tall, come on in.
Oh, good morning, everybody.
Good
Um,
morning, my brother. Talk to me.
Good morning. Egberto, I've been watching American politics since the 70s. I've seen all of this unfold in the last 50 years. And this particular cycle kind of burst the illusion that the American voters were tricked and manipulated. I've come to the conclusion that 52% of the voters in this country are just plain stupid. Trump told the whole world exactly who he is, what he intended to do. Agenda 2025 was available to the public 3 or 4 months before the election. So this is no secret. There's no surprise. And a lot of those farmers you mentioned earlier in the show, they were Trump humpers. They believed this guy. And I want to conclude, and may sound diabolical or sinister to some people, but there are millions of people in this country who would rather see this nation turn into a dystopian nightmare than to share power on any basis. Anything that symbolizes equality, they believe is wrong. And I know it's sick, but this country is not a nation. It's a condition. It's a very sick condition. That's my only comment, man. And I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Let me just, I want to respond to it because that requires a very important response. I don't call it the people stupid. I call it ignorant. And I think, and the reason I want to do that is, first of all, I recognize this is our country, my brother. And to exist in this country, we have to ensure that we inform others, that we look. I have to go where people are. Told. I've got to go where people are. I can't sit down and just say these people are stupid, because by me doing that, I'm harming all of us, because we are dependent on some of MAGA seeing the light. We are dependent on some conservatives seeing the light. We are dependent on people understanding where the problems also arise. I always tell the story, and I repeat this ad nauseum for those who listen to me. I knew Obama was going to win when somebody went into a neighborhood in Pennsylvania and they asked the family, "Who are you going to vote for?" And the woman turned back and asked her husband, "Honey, who are we voting for?" And the husband comes back and shouted, "Let them know we're voting for the N guy." And you know what I mean, the N word guy. And the reason that was touching to me, I didn't get mad about that. That turned me on. Because at that point, I learned something, that you could reach a financial situation that affected you, that you finally stopped your prejudice from making you vote against your own interest. What am I saying here? You were right, brother. There are a lot of people that would rather see, because they have such hate in their hearts, they don't want to see that woman in high places, that person of color in high places, that black person, that Latina person getting something. They don't want it, right? So they don't mind harming themselves somewhat just for that reason. But there's a point. There is a limit. And by the way, that limit should be here again with what's about to occur with our economy. There's a limit where your xenophobia, your homophobia, your own personal racism, and all of these take the back seat. You see, I can't change somebody's heart overnight. My heart wasn't changed when I learned progressive values that I didn't have as a Panamanian back home. But I changed here first, in my mind first, then the heart. But there are externalities that can actually force that change before. And that is what my responsibility as somebody with a platform is to do. I can't possibly solve your heart, but I can actually try to earn your trust. You trust a lot of people you don't like. I can earn your trust so that you'd at least say, I hate this guy, but God, I didn't know this. I better vote this way. Otherwise, it'll affect my family, my family's families, my friends. I don't like him though. And I don't need you to like me. I don't need any of that. We just need people to vote the interest of what will make life better for most of us. I want to give a big thank you to Amber from Huntsville, Texas. Another sustainer. Thank you so kindly, Amber. You make things happen here, sis. You make things happen here. And without you, we couldn't do it. I'm running low on time, so let me start the beef thing, okay? And by the way, somebody called and asked about Prop 16 I think you mean the Prop 16 in Texas, and that is about only American citizens can vote. Look, there's more to that amendment. Let me get back with you tomorrow on it. So just suffice it to say, what's the point? Only Americans can vote. But we'll tackle that another day. All right. I need to talk about the beef today, but that's what that amendment is about. I just wanted to tell you that. All right. Here it goes with the betrayal. A betrayal. Ranchers slam Trump plan to buy beef from Argentina with U.S. tax dollars. U.S. ranchers and industry groups are responding critically to President Trump's proposal that the United States would buy some beef from Argentina in a bid to bring our beef prices down, while pursuing an up to $40 billion subsidy to Argentina. I have a suggestion. Why not give Americans a beef subsidy as opposed to giving a subsidy to Argentina, who then gives a subsidy to the Americans by selling us cheaper beef, and then harming our beef industry because of their high input costs? It's amazing how you can look at things if you're informed. I don't believe in either, by the way, because I think I believe in the free enterprise system, but we'll digress. Trump made the suggestion to reporters on Air Force One Sunday. According to the Associated Press, a few days earlier, he said that a deal to cut the price of beef was going to be coming down pretty soon. Wait, I thought we didn't believe in controlled economies. Isn't that a communist thing? And not even a socialist thing, but a communist thing? The AP noted various reasons for stubbornly high U.S. prices, including drought and reduced imports from Mexico. Oh, so the tariffs is having an effect on the beef we export and the plants we export, and now we want to put it on I see. President Trump's plan to buy beef from Argentina is a betrayal of the American rancher. Christian Lovell, an Illinois cattle producer and senior director of programs in the Organization of Farm Action, said in a Monday statement, those of us who raise cattle have finally started to see what profit looks like after facing years of high input costs. High input costs means feed, fuel, transportation, all those things. Inflation really ate at them. Finally started to see what profit looks like after facing years of high input costs and market manipulation by the meat packing monopoly. In other words, not the people that produce the cattle, the capitalists who are the ones who turn the cattle into capital and revenue. After crashing the soybean market and gifting Argentina, our largest exported buyer, he now poised to do the same to the cattle market. He continued referring to one of the impacts of Trump's tariffs war. Importing Argentinians beef would send U.S. cattle prices plummeting, and with the meatpacking industry as consolidated as it is, consumers may not see lower beef prices either. Washington should be focused on fixing our broken cattle market, not rewarding foreign competitors. Hey, wait a minute. Wasn't this the president of America first? Huh? Hey, farmers, ranchers, MAGA, are you listening, brothers and sisters? We are giving you the info to give you a place to land. We want you. We want you into the fold. We need you in this fold. Farm action proposed fix for the U.S. is to tackle the structurally flawed system with 3 steps. Reinstate mandatory country of origin labeling of beef and pork, restore competitive markets by enforcing antitrust laws, and rebuild the U.S. cow herd to achieve national self-reliance in beef production. All doable, all fitting within the frame of a free market, right? I don't like the word free market. I like free enterprise. The group was far from alone in criticizing Trump's weekend remarks and offering alternative solutions to reduce U.S. prices. We appreciate the President Trump's interest in addressing the U.S. beef market, which has been producing at all-time high consumer beef prices, said Billiard. We urge the president to address the fundamental problems in the beef market, not just the symptom. We've been saying that for years. You know, I mean, Uju just spoke about us being the only industrialized country, the only OECD country that doesn't have health care for all, that universal health care for everybody. That's so true. Believe it or not, all of these things are intertwined. Not having health care means you can't have a reliable workforce. And we're seeing that. Bad immigration policy means you don't have a reliable force. One of the protesters that we had in the field on Saturday, he is a builder. He's a supervisor building homes. And he said, the first set of people that taught me how to build were from El Salvador. He also said that the people who taught me were Latin Americans from Central America. He also said that the skill set that these folks have, because again, it's what they do and we have been lacking there, it's from them. And now the homes being built are built with a lacking skill set. The policies of this president is harming almost every industry, and that we have killed the soybean industry and many other products that we form with the tariffs, that we have decided to give $40 billion US pair dollars to Argentina to prop up their economy, which is a right-wing economy on steroids. That he's doing that is that he's also given money to the people that are our competitors, Argentina, by soybeans and beef. And let's say a little bit further about Argentina. You see, when Argentina went to Milei, when they became a right-wing nut job in Argentina that destroyed the market, right? Now that is failing and elections are coming, he's trying to prop up this right-wing government because he doesn't want the rest of America to realize this is what right-wing governments mean to you. This is what it does to you. So he needs to prop that government up, but it's another financial reason. These guys have invested a lot of money with the expectation that somehow they are going to make money on the bonds and the financial instruments they sold. I want you guys to realize that. We are given $40 billion to prop up
Sandy,
those people who have derivatives.
Let's go going over a bit long.
No. I'm coming. I can hear you. I need to finish this, then I'm going to go to the station thing. Then we'll do the pitch. Folks, it is important. It is important that you understand this. It is important that you tell your friends this. Remember what I said. Information. When our brother just called and said these people are stupid, they're not stupid, they're ignorant. They don't know this. And when they're informed of this, they can make a better decision. Folks, this is KPFT Houston on the top of the hour. Let me pass it on to Sandy to do our final pitch, but we need you to call 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to donate. Folks, we need your contributions. We cannot do this without you. This information comes to you. Sandy.
Thank you, Egberto. And I want to thank Amber and James and Michael for getting us started this morning. That's 3 people that have stepped up out of the thousands of you listening right now. I want to ask those people again not donating, that have never donated, to take that step and support community radio. You're only listening because of 55 and a half years of people doing what Amber, James, and Michael did this morning. And that is contributing just enough to make a goal to get us to our next fund drive. That's the way community radio works. We don't have commercials. No one's getting rich off this. In fact, hardly anybody gets paid much of anything down at KPFT. The bulk of the folks down there, the large majority, they're volunteering their time and their effort to bring you this radio station. We're just trying to pay the bills. So if you haven't pledged yet, please make that call, 713-526-5738. There's a Politics Done Right t-shirt for $100. Many of our other shows have t-shirts as well. There's a hoodie that you can pick up for $180 on cooler mornings like we're getting to, and maybe the random trip to the beach. This is a great piece of apparel to have laying around. Some people wear this all the time for months, myself included, as we get to the cooler weather. 713-526-5738. That's a new logo hoodie that we're talking about here. And again, that's a $15 a month contribution to your community radio station. We can't do this without you, folks. We don't have the commercials. We don't have a whole lot of underwriting or a lot of grant money coming our way these days. Grant money is becoming incredibly competitive, given that the shutdown of CPB, people are looking to whatever and wherever they can to fund their media outlets. And a lot of them are failing in doing so and disappearing. Don't let KPFT be on that list. So look, we need 2 more pledges here in the last 3 minutes. If a couple of you can do $10 a month, we will make it to our goal. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Following this program, Democracy Now!, and following that, Conversations with Michael Woodson. That's your next 2 hours rolling out here on community radio. And again, these are volunteers, so please support that effort. Provide the place where all of this can go down. That's KPFT. Without it, no voices on the air, no community radio, and we are up the creek without a paddle at times like this. At least we may be up the creek, but we got a paddle to get somewhere else, and that's this radio station. So join in with the other 422 distinct acts of kindness on this fund drive. We are just $177 away from the $77,000 mark. Maybe one of you can do the 177 and round it up. KPFT Houston, and back to Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. I want to salute our teachers, LBW and Jacqueline, LBW from Kingwood and Jacqueline Campisi from Katy. Thank you guys for being here. Jacqueline says they want farmers to fail so they can buy their land cheap for the corporation. That is, you're absolutely right, Jacqueline Campisi. Later back, Bearcat from Austin. Welcome to Politics Done Right. Folks, we got to get out of here in a minute or so. So let me throw it to the studio to see if they have anything to say before I close this baby down. Studio. Okay.
Nothing here, Berto. Take it away.
All right. Thank you so kindly. Anyway, folks, look, remember the rest of the videos at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. You can write me directly, email me directly. I answer my emails at kpft@politicsdoneright.com, kpft@politicsdoneright.com. I want to do my ask one more time. I'm going off the air now. You can call or you can go ahead and hit the donate button at kpft.org. Even after I'm on air, please remember to select Politics Done Right as the program you are supporting. $10 a month, $5 a month. If you want coffee with Egberto, it's a $250 contribution. The t-shirt is $100. Folks, this is just for us to raise money for the station so that we can stay alive. I love you all. This is Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right. You know how I am this baby. I am what?